hello. I think we'll find out in a second, right? You go ahead and mute everything, get all the stuff ready. Still figuring out all the new setups I have for streaming and for different things. And right about now, I need to go ahead and find this chat because, hey, look at that. We're live. Perfect. Okay, hopefully there's no audio. Audio's off, hopefully. Cool. Hello, everyone. Good morning. How are you? I need to do a better job of like scheduling these so that they show up in the actual queue. As of right now, they don't really have that. They just kind of pop up and hopefully, you know, people see it or whatnot. Or you know my schedule, in which case if you know my schedule, you know that Wednesdays do have live streams going on. I'm curious if anyone's... What's up? Do we have anything going on? Hello. Can you hear me? Let's start with that. Can you hear me? Hello. Dun 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 dun. Boom. Hit send. Perfect. Okay, I said hello. I'm good. You see, look at that. If you can't hear me, let me know. If you can hear me, well, I guess let me know either way. But past that, let's go ahead and dive into this. This is just usual Wednesday morning live stream, no specific subject or schedule. I did take my little rapid home test or whatnot because of the fact that, well, apparently like 17 people that I know already tested positive for COVID at Origins, and I was feeling a bit tired. Granted, that's because I haven't been sleeping a lot. I mean, I've been sleeping, but just not a lot. But just the general weariness of my body, I was like, maybe it's COVID. It wasn't COVID. At least not according to the home thingy. Sky Kingdom Games, good morning. We can hear you. Thank you. Good morning, Sky Kingdom. And Richard, always good to see you. Good to see you there. But yeah, so Origins. I came back from Origins. The title of the video says it all. Oh, and for those, you know, showing up because they want the optional question mark Rena, she might be showing up a bit later. I don't know for sure. That's the current plan, but she's in the middle of a meeting. She said if a meeting finishes on time. So I guess the new goal is to just keep this stream running long enough for the meeting to show up in time. So it's been a while since Rena joined me for a live stream. It's always nice to have her on board. So if in case you're interested in that, just show up in around 45 minutes. Might be less. I don't know exactly. But usually these go from around 10 to 11. But we see. We see what happens. Also, I missed last week, so now I feel like I owe you a bit. So that's a whole different conversation. So, what's up? Just wrapping my head around things. As usual, Q&A. Anything goes, anything, whatever. Otherwise, I'll just talk because I can do that. Origins. So Origins was a lot of fun. I'm hoping to have a vlog, like kind of update situation. I don't know exactly. One of the things that I've had a challenge with in general when I go to these, when I try to like vlog at conventions or have fun, is I start off all gung-ho, and the more the convention goes on, the more I'm having fun and the more I'm wrapped up in the people around me, and that makes it harder to remember to pull out a camera and interrupt things. And so I don't yet know how I feel about it. Because my bias is that multiple reasons to do a vlog in general. One is the entertainment it provides yourself, if it does. The second is the fact that it's content for the channel. The third, and the one that I'm most interested in, is memories. Because I'm already at the point with vlogs where I feel it's enough of an interruption to having a good time that for the sake of content or your entertainment, I wouldn't do it. I'd rather just enjoy the moments of, you know, well, of playing with people, of engaging with people. But the flip side of things is that I do like having memories. Like, I've pulled up my Gamma vlog and watched it. It's nice to like have the memories of the things you've done, and that's the part that has me torn. So I'm probably still gonna mess with the vlog. I'll have to like do a segment on my little home here being like, yeah, we got back and it's all over and I forgot to cover the last day of the convention. That kind of thing happens. FanAM, thanks for the super chat, $2. I look forward to the day you play Ninjato with Jesse. So I never actually got Ninjato tabled. Jesse got Ninjato, showed up at his house, and I've seen Ninjato around for a long time. It's one of those games that, for me, it was one of the many games I didn't get back when I first got into gaming and was trying to get all the stuff. And so I was always intrigued by Ninjato. Never tabled it. Happy to play it with him. Board Game Roundlings, good morning. Hey, Alex, hope you're doing good. Board Game Roundlings. Yes, absolutely, I'll see you at Gen Con. Absolutely. I'll be at Gen Con. For those interested, I'll be at Gen Con Thursday and Friday. I will not be there over the weekend, unfortunately. I have to go home. I will not be coming back Sunday. I'll just be there Thursday, Friday. I might show up early, like Wednesday, just to be around town for those who are around town. So I might be there Wednesday. But definitely Thursday, definitely Friday, leaving early on Friday, because I'll, practically speaking, have to drive home. But I'm very excited for Gen Con. Very much looking forward to all these things. I'll also be going to PAX Unplugged, almost certainly. I'll be going to Gamma again, which is more of an industry convention. I will almost certainly be going to WSBG, the World Series of Board Gaming in Vegas. I'll be going to that. I'm going to be a commentator or something like that in the show, which means when they're playing the World Series of Board Game and they're, I don't know, what's one of the games, when they have Blood Rages, let's say, on the table, I'll be making sure to be a very over-the-top commentator. I don't actually know if they want over-the-top. I want to do over-the-top, but it depends what they're comfortable with. Because I want to be like a full-on sports commentator, like, oh my gosh, he's passing the draft. Ooh, that's a tough pick over there. I can't believe he gave up the +5 attack. I understand going for the quest. It's going to round out his options, score him an extra few points, but that +5, that's a guaranteed win in the first round, and it's hard for someone. Oh my gosh, he just passed on the sea monster. Like, what is happening here? What is his strategy? I have never seen a play like this. And he just put the sea monster on the table, and the other players are in shock. The crowd is absolutely going crazy. They have never seen this. I just want to be over the top. I want to be completely over the top because I think it's hilarious. Yeah, I probably shouldn't do this. But yeah, WSBG in Vegas. I'll be doing that. I'm seeing a few comments about Dice Tower East. Are you going to Dice Tower East from Mainer Gamers? Same with Successful Geek. Sadly, I will not be this time round. I'm still trying to figure out all the conventions and things that I go to. So I'll be going to, like I said, PAX Unplugged, Gamma, Origins, Gen Con. I am most likely going to Dice Tower West this year. I believe that. I'm trying to see if it works out timing-wise. It might be too close to Gamma. But I know Tim, who runs it, and he's a great guy, and I keep telling him I'll go, so I hope to actually show up. We'll see. I'll have to see. But I want to go to everything. I have to make time, effort, attention, all that stuff. Frederick Epstein. Owning a lot of board games can be a sport. I mean, owning a lot of video games can be a sport, so why not board games? Edwin Nates. I have a question about your Dungeons of Infinity video. Were you all right? Did something happen? Because you had a weird expression and a little non-participative stance, and you didn't back it? Edwin, so for context, I don't know, I'd have to watch the video to see my stance, but there's only a handful of games that I remember actively not enjoying, and it usually comes through in video. Dungeons of Infinity wasn't one of those games for me. I totally had fun with it. It was a fine game, but it also didn't win me over either. So was I alright? Yes. Had a weird expression, a little non-participative? I'd have to watch the video to see. Again, in my end, like, for instance, you want to see me not having fun, watch Kingdoms Forlorn. That's a good example. Nothing against the game, but when I'm not having fun, I usually find it pretty evident. But no, I also did not back Dungeon Infinity. I felt it was a fine dungeon crawler, but did not compel me compared to the other ones I had. Daniel Wolfarth. What's the best board game table you can recommend? Looking at value for money, price doesn't matter. Also, thanks for amazing content. Help me to find so many good games. Price doesn't matter. I'd go with Wormwood, if that's your goal. I mean, if price does not matter, I'd go with Wormwood. Otherwise, there's a whole lot of other conversations we can have. I'm a big fan of Uniquely Geek. I find they give a good combination of price and customization. Big fan of the one I have right now. I still have to do a video on this one, but this is always linked in the description if you want to check that out. I'll have video content at some point. Board game tables, I never actually bought board game tables, but I looked into it heavily. They are one of the options I was looking into. I will be getting from, what's it called? The Archie game table from something Geek & Sons, from Geek & Sons. I'll be getting that, but I don't actually have it, so I can't comment on it yet. Okay, Wesley, live streaming with Alex. Yes, Wednesday at 10 a.m. That's the goal. Although I almost forgot. My wife reminded me at the very last minute that I have a live stream going on, and I was like, oh, that's right. I didn't do one last week because I was at Origins, and now I need to get in the habit. I need to set a calendar appointment because I run off calendars, so I'll go ahead and do that. Successful Geek, we need Madden to commentate on the WSBG. That's the goal. That's the goal. I think it would be hilarious to go over the top commentators. Fanam, Senjutsu at Con. What are you looking forward to playing there? Senjutsu, that's the sword game, right? I covered that one. I liked Senjutsu. I think, is that the one I'm thinking of? Is Senjutsu the sword one, where you're making swords? I think it is. Or am I thinking of something else? Or are you talking about ninjutsu? I don't know. But I like the Senjutsu sword game. I don't know what I'm looking forward to playing. I don't actually walk into cons with that much expectations. This time around, I did walk in with the expectation of playing Cloudspire, which I got to table, and I'm very excited to get to table again. Cloudspire is awesome. Very excited for that one. Then we have, what's it called? Robbie Sanger. Alex, how did you end up meeting Quacklope? Robbie Sanger. The way I met Quacklope, lovely chap that he is, the way I met Quacklope was I was doing a video, top 10 YouTubers that I enjoy their content. And it was just anyone I enjoyed. I did anyone from the Dice Tower to Rado to Shut Up and Sit Down. I think Shut Up and Sit Down went there, I'm pretty sure. And I did a bunch of, and I did smaller channels too, medium to large channels. Those are the people I enjoyed. I wasn't trying to promote anyone. I was just trying to tell you that I liked certain people. And Quacklope was in that video. The fun fact is I actually filmed the video 2 weeks earlier or something like that, or a month earlier, and Quacklope wasn't in the first one, because Quacklope was must have been like a month and a half earlier. I did like a month and a half earlier, and I didn't like the way I did it. I thought it was a little like all over the place, and so I refilmed it, and in the meantime I had discovered Quacklope, which is a fun little story, because if the first video had gone up, Quacklope and I might never have, well, I mean, I'm sure we'd have interacted, but we might not have the relationship that we have. And so I refilmed the video, I added Quacklope, I don't remember who I took out, and he reached out after and he's like, hey, really appreciate your content, really appreciate the video, and you want to do stuff together. And I'm always interested in collaboration. I'm always interested in people. I like the people in the space. It's the biggest thing for me. There's the to me, everything about what I'm doing is fun, and so fun is important to me. But anyways, we reached out, we spoke, we hung out. I drove down to hang out with him like a month later, something like that. I was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll drive to Kentucky. Let's go ahead and just play some games. We played Dead Reckoning. We played a bunch of other games. We played Everdell. Or we did a video on Everdell. I don't know if we played Everdell. But we played and filmed a bunch of stuff. And the next thing you know, we're just continuously collaborating, working together, traveling, and all that stuff. And now he lives down the block from me, and we hang out and do stuff all the time. That's the Quack Love story. Stefan Delagou. What about going to Essen? I was hoping to go to Essen this year. I can't go to Essen this year. Just the timing of the holidays, it doesn't work out. It would involve me. It would not work out for me. I'm not going to Essen this year, but I did want to. Januel Yee, did you get a chance to play Rove at Origins? I did not get a chance to play Rove at Origins. That's not true. That's a lie. I absolutely had a chance to play Rove at Origins. I chose not to. And you're like, you chose not to? Why is that, Alex? Because I'm going to be playing Rove either way. Rove is something that I guaranteed know I'll be playing. I have it locked in. Professor Meg, I believe, is going to be coming down to hang out with Quackle and myself as we play through Rove. For context, she's a big, huge Gloomhaven fan, if you don't know. Professor Meg is been doing stuff, I've been doing stuff with Camp Co-op over, we're doing Twitch streaming on Camp Co-op, link in the description, not of this video, of the other videos. We're playing through Gloomhaven, but she's a huge Gloomhaven fan, and she's been working with Addicts Games on Crimson Scales as well. So like I did an unboxing, she got a box, she's been playing through it. I think she might be one of the people who's been playing through Crimson Scales more than a lot of people. But anyways, she'll be playing Rove, and she had a chance to play Rove at Origins. She had a lot of positive things to say. You can check out her, I think it's on the Board Vengers. If you go to the Board Vengers channel, she has like a whole first impressions of Rove. Short version is I asked her if it was a good game. She said it was a good game. I said, great, we'll play it later. I wasn't in a rush to play it at the convention specifically. So I will be playing Rove, not in a rush to have played it yet. Where are we up to? Eric, do you own Cthulhu Death May Die and Speakable Box, and is it worth the money? I definitely own Cthulhu Death May Die and Speakable Box, right behind me over there. And it is it worth the money? For me, the answer is a hard yes, because I love that game. One of my absolute favorite games of all time. I love that game. Whether it's worth it for you depends on if you're going to play it. I get a lot of games and expansions and Kickstarter stuff, and I don't always go into it all. Sometimes the base game is enough. And in that case, it's not worth the money. Just the way it works. But if you're going to go into it heavily, I think you'll like the extra stuff. So my ideal recommendation would be play a friend's copy of the game, get a few plays in, and see if it's something you really love. And if it is, go ahead and get your hands on it. So, have you ever played on a Game Topper? Main or gamers, have you ever played on a Game Topper? Any thoughts? I played on a Game Topper, I believe, one time. And this is an overly harsh thing to say based on one play, but I just wasn't impressed with the feeling of it. Is it better than a regular standard table? Absolutely. Is it better than a game table? No, but I mean, you wouldn't expect it to be. I think the harsh critique I have around it is I have a nice little neoprene mat that's rolled up from, I just store it in a little bag. I keep it for when I don't have a game table available, or when the topper's on, or whatever the situation is. I have that from Board Game Tables. That's my go-to cover for when I'm not using my game table. I'd prefer the neoprene rolled up mat over the game topper. There are perks to the game topper. There's cup holders, there's other accessories. You roll dice, they won't fall off the edge. There absolutely are perks. I wasn't impressed based on my one play. I'd be happy to try it again more often if it came up and see, but I don't think a game topper is as much for me. DeBruiser, hey Alex, you sound like you're recovered from convention exhaustion. I am absolutely not recovered. You sound like you've recovered. I have not recovered, not in the slightest. Oh my gosh. So my video, for context, my video going up on Patreon tomorrow. I do a weekly Patreon video, and that's like behind the scenes, what's going on. And the entire video is just me being like, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm not back in the groove, my schedule's all off, maybe I'm getting burnt out. I'm not getting burnt out, but like I'm exhausted. I've had a hard time getting back in the groove, back in the swing of things. The practical reality is that I'm used to a schedule. I love conventions. I love having fun. I love doing the things that break from the schedule, but I work well with the schedule. My schedule is I get up, I do this, I film 2 videos, I edit a video, I play a game, I read some rules, rinse, repeat, go through the day, doing all that. And then you go through a week where I had holidays. Saturday, Sunday, Monday last week was holidays. Tuesday was a work day. And then Wednesday, Thursday, all the way through Sunday was conventions. And now I'm so off my groove. I'm like so off that pattern of just getting things done. And now it feels like I have to get back in the pattern. And what used to feel like a habit is feeling like work right now. Like the things I love doing, and I love doing. Like I love getting in front of a camera. There's so many aspects of what I do that I love. But I feel like I have to push myself when previously it was a habit. So I'm still getting over that. It's just a matter of getting your patterns built back up. But yeah, I'm still not recovered. I'm still very much in the swing of things. Fan I am, Jasper from Board Game Tables is totally worth it, even shipping to Australia. Yeah, the Jasper's a very reasonably priced Board Game Tables option. Haven't actually used it myself. Wesley Scott, I need structure as well. My wife is on my backup calendar for sure. Yeah, I need to put this live stream in my calendar. Successful Geek, lovely chap. Are we talking about the same duck? I try to be polite about other content creators on you know, when I do YouTube videos in general, successful. If you want to know how I really feel about Crackalope, feel free to send me a ping. We'll talk. Richard L, is this where the two started sending ducks to each other? Yes, it is. Zamorian, hey Alex, just started watching, so you don't know if this was asked already, but have you played Moonmakers or Veiled Fate? What's your preferred player count? Is it good with 3? So that's 2 questions, 2 games. Let's go ahead and answer those. I've played Moonmakers, I've played Veiled Fate. I didn't like Veiled Fate when I played as a 4-player game. I liked it a lot when I played as a 6-player game. I don't feel the need to own it at the moment, but I did enjoy it at higher player counts once you get into teams. For Moonmakers works well at 3, it works well at 4. I find it gets a little crowded at 5, but there are some people who like it at 5. Funksiyu, question, favorite or most interesting games out of Origins? Cloudspire, done. Cloudspire is absolutely my highlight for Origins. It was the one thing I had a specific game plan. I'm going to walk into Origins, this one I'm going to play, this one I'm going to get done. Cloudspire. Fan AM, TI3, Eclipse, Xayah, or Voidfall? I haven't played TI3. I haven't played Voidfall. I've played the original Eclipse, not Second Dawn for the Galaxy, and I've played Xayah. So from those, Xayah is going to be my easy choice, but that's half process of elimination. Zamorian, everyone in the chat, is Clans of Caledonia any good at 3? Clans of Caledonia, I believe, is best at 4, but I believe it's good at 3. You can check BGG, I have to double check. Professor Meg, oh, you're here. Good. Hey, how's it going? Rove played great, but very excited to see the leveling up and depth of it. Yeah, so that's the plan. We're going to be diving more into Rove. I had limited convention time to go through things. At one point, I was going to try to play Rove. Everything was getting crowded, and so I chopped it off the list just because other things were getting played. Richard L, Funksiyu, it sure wasn't Blood on the Clock Tower. Blood on the Clock Tower. I'm going to be talking more about that in my week in review, because I did a video on Blood on the Clock Tower, and I don't regret doing the video. I don't, but I do regret that I think some people had their feelings hurt, which was not the intent of the video. The video to me was just the same thing I do on this channel all the time. Yes, I review games. Yes, I'll do top 10 lists. Yes, I'll do this, that, and the other, but at the end of the day, I don't view this as purely business. I view this as fun. I view this as me having a conversation with all of you. I view this as me just being able to talk. That was me venting. That video was me venting about the worst experience I've had in a long time, and I did so with the responsibility of making sure that I made it very clear I don't have any blame towards anyone whatsoever. It was just about the nature of the experience I had and how it didn't work for me, both based on the game and based on all the peripheral experiences. I'll talk more about it in my week in review. It's going to be the topic of the week, so I want to go through a bunch of the aspects. So if you want to hear more about Blood on the Clock Tower, check out this coming week in review. It goes up Saturday. I'll talk about it more then. What's it called? Oh, speaking of Professor Meg's in the chat, later today, the video I have going up later today is going to be a quiz show with Professor Meg. We filmed a video together while at Origins, and I won. I totally 100% won, just for the record. Okay, did you ever get a chance to play Chachapais? Did you ever get a chance to play Ignite? Yes, I did. I will finally be having an Ignite review coming up shortly. Shortly could mean anytime in the next month, because I managed to get ahead on all my reviews, so we'll see what happens exactly when. You have Frederick Eberstein. You, Devin, and Crack are a winning combo. It'd be really cool to see you play some sort of longer campaign, but I can see the difficulty of making it happen. I love Devin and Crackalope. I think Devin is the glue that holds us all together with his charm, craziness, and zaniness. Devin's just, I mean, he's hilarious, but I like the three of us. I think we have good vibes, good connections, and I appreciate that you think so as well. Zamorian, for Alex, I don't know if this was bought before, but is Cthulhu Death May Die a good solo game or just watered down for the sake of increasing player count? I haven't tried it solo. I'd be less interested in playing it solo, willing to play it solo. I think the experiences lend themselves to people being like, that just happened, or we almost won, we almost lost. I think I prefer it as a non-solo game, but I haven't played it. Gabriel, are you excited for Cyberpunk 2077? Yes, I am, because I've played it and I like it, so yes, I am excited for it. Do you think CMON will be rethinking their marketing approach after the backlash of the Marvel Zombies campaign? I think CMON's always rethinking the marketing approach. I think it'd be stupid not to. But I don't know what that translates into, practically speaking. You see, here's where things get messed up, right? This is the practical reality of just, let's paint a picture, right? Let's pretend for a second, let's use the shipping price as a good reference point. Let's pretend CMON's like, you know what, there's a whole lot of backlash. People really didn't like that double shipping aspect, and even though we have our reasons of how and why, we're going to estimate on the high end. Previously, we would have said it's $40 shipping. We're going to say an all-in Cyberpunk 2077 is $70 shipping to cover our bases. The danger of that is now people are going to look at that and think, okay, $70 shipping, well, that's probably going to be $130 shipping because, come on, so too late now. Like, how do you convince somebody that this time you're actually going for the real number? I don't have sympathy for this. This is the situation you get in when your numbers are wrong. Now, forever and for always, you have to now fight a battle of either having your numbers be wrong all the time or trying to be accurate and scaring people off because they now think it's double the accurate. It's a messed up situation, but, I mean, people are going to back it either way if that's your question. How many is a different story. Aaron Quintilla, I'm still recovering from Origins. Great time, but exhausting. Very much so. We are Topolsky. Is there a plan to do top X deduction games? Haven't thought to, but I'm down for anything at any point. Did you back Darkest Dungeon? If so, are you excited for it? I did not back Darkest Dungeon, but I do have a relationship with Mythic Games, so I do wonder if they'll send it to me. I'm happy to play it. I wasn't sold enough to actually back it myself, so if I do play it, understand I'm walking in with the fact that I wasn't sure if it was for me to begin with. Russell, anyone else waiting for the app for My Father's Work? So I believe there's a scenario you can play on their website. I've heard that actually from Professor Meg, who got My Father's Work. I believe there's a scenario on the website you can download. I don't know. Someone else might be able to confirm that in the chat. Successful Geek, will you be trying My Father's Work at all once the app is ready? Sorry, give me a second here. No. I mean, maybe eventually, but I wasn't interested enough in that game. There was a lot of hype and buzz. I almost backed it. I'm not currently interested enough. So, I mean, I'm not against it. If somebody wants to play with me, if it's at a convention, if they send me a copy, sure, all those things, but it's not high on my personal list. Main board gamers, nope, not relevant. Matthias, hey Alex, Guards of Atlantis 2 is shipping to backers right now. Will you have coverage of this game? Well, it's sitting on my floor waiting for me to unbox it, so I sure as hell hope so. I love that game. I love it. In fact, just this past week, one of my friends from my game group was like, you know, this is a good game. Actually, it's relevant. For Ignite, when we were playing Ignite, he was like, this is fun. I liked it, but I really like that other game we played before. Could we play that? And I was like, and he described it to me. And I was like, that's Guards of Atlantis. I got rid of it because I'm waiting for the new copy to arrive. And the next day, the new copy showed up, so there we go with that. Have you backed ISS Vanguard? If so, what is your current hype level? I have backed ISS Vanguard, and my current hype level is, I'm excited. That's the level. I like it. I like the ISS Vanguard, but it is a long campaign game, and I'm currently trying to play through so many different things as it is, and I'm making progress. I am making progress. I'm finally tabling some stuff, but yeah, I'm excited for it. But like, if ISS Vanguard showed up today, I wouldn't be playing it right away. So I'm not that excited. I am excited for it. Ryan Clements, while you're at Origins, do you happen to try 44 BCE? I felt it was a really good mix of Euro and negotiation. I did not. I'm sorry. Cohen, Alex, do you play the Saga expansions of Dead Reckoning? I started the sagas. I'm 2 sagas in. I am intrigued by them without in love with them yet, so I don't feel they're essential just yet. Raimondo, will you have any discussions revolving around painting miniatures? Maybe at some point. Don't know for sure. How far behind am I in the chat? I might be really far behind. We should probably do something with that. Joseph, have you ever played The Godfather Colliers Empire? No, but I have. I've read the rulebook. I'm prepped to go. I absolutely want to play it. Professor Meg, we talked about it in the video, but I believe the first scenario is on the website. I'm going to try to... You see, there you go. I knew what I was talking about. There we go. Okay, Spring M, that's referring to My Father's Work. Spring M, did you crack open Massive Darkness? I did not. That's one I have to unbox. Just arrived. I need to film my unboxing, so I didn't open it just yet. But I did see Tom Vassel's review of it, and he could have said it's the worst game ever. I'd still be excited, but he definitely upped my excitement of it. Allison Burrell, good morning, friends. Morning, Allison. How's it going? Allison from Play of the Games here. Successful Geek, awesome, Professor Meg. I punched and organized it, and it's so beautiful. I mean, hey. What's your thoughts on Skyrise current funding? 178,000. I'm surprised I didn't have a bigger first 24 hours. Game looks gorgeous. I think crowdfunding in general is taking a hit. I think it's just the way things are going to go. It's going to continue that way because, I mean, why wouldn't it? Right now, the practical reality of crowdfunding is it's more... People are getting hit more and more. Costs are going up. Shipping's going up. There's all these stories of anything from increased shippings after the fact, increased costs right now. Tiny Epic Dungeons, for context, they just had a $40 game with a $30 shipping cost. That's insanity, right? But it's also reality. But I think crowdfunding is always going to be taking a hit. We'll see what happens. Okay. Jafar, Ember Mug changed my lug. Yes. Oh my god. Jafar, the Ember Mug. I am waiting for Black Friday to buy like 3 extras of them just so I can have extras around in case my other one breaks because that Ember Mug is delightful. I cannot enjoy tea or coffee. Well, cold coffee I could, but hot coffee or tea, I cannot enjoy them properly without the Ember Mug anymore. The Ember Mug has ruined all drinks for me. It's a mug that keeps your drink at a specific temperature the entire time. It has ruined drinking for me. Successful Geek, I'm so tempted by Skyrise, but I'm enjoying my not backing streak. Don't break it for Skyrise then. Don't. I think Skyrise is good. I do. I really do enjoy it, and I'll be getting it, but I don't think it's worth breaking a streak over good. Zamorian, do you plan on doing a solo 175 review? No. I mean, I didn't back it. If they send me a copy, sure. If I get weak and eventually buy it or something, which could happen. I do like legacy games. Visually speaking, that game did not pull me in, and I'm a very visual person. I do want to... I want to be compelled to play a game. I don't want to feel I should back it because, hey, I like legacy games. I try to use all the excuses I can to not back, and that was an easy one to find an excuse. Mainers Gamers, favorite Simone Luciani game. Did Simone Luciani do, the DEI? I think he did, and if so, that's my favorite Simone Luciani game. The Bruiser, I watched your video about how your channel came to be, how you met your wife, being a Reformed Jew. Those absolutely come to my list experiences, but I found it fascinating. Yeah, there's more coming. History of Alex Part 2 should be up in the next week or two. History of Alex Part 3, I don't know if it's called History of Alex, whatever it's called, that will be all up at some point. I filmed Part 2, I have not filmed Part 3. I'm doling them out slowly. I'm not in a rush for them. I find them interesting, and I'll probably update it over the years as things happen. I think there's 4 parts right now. Well, 2 parts filmed, but 4 parts planned right now. Wondering if you ever miss living in Canada and moving to the US from healthcare politics standpoint. Whoa, okay, 1 second. Okay, now we got, the chat just froze up. I'm so far behind. No, I'm not actually that far behind. I'm not that far behind. Wondering if I miss living in Canada, fellow Canadian, moving to the US from healthcare politics and standpoint. Sorry if this is too personal for you. Nothing, just for the record, there is nothing that ever goes in this chat that is too personal. Any question you ask, I will answer. I may not answer it the way you like it, but nothing is off the table at all, except for trolling. Once it devolves into trolling, then I'm just going to ignore you or block you, because who has time for that? But if it's a genuine question, I'll answer it. I'm not afraid. I don't try to wade into things intentionally, but I'm not afraid to wade into things that are offered up. So the short answer is, do I miss living in Canada from a healthcare stance? Absolutely I do. Do I miss living in Canada from any other stance? Not necessarily, but you also have to remember my context is skewed. I grew up there as a teenager, and by the time I even came close to being an adult, basically, I moved away when I was 22 and I got married, and so, I mean, like, I don't have that much to compare it to. I have fond memories of living in Canada, but like the rest of it wasn't really that impactful. Even the healthcare, I never paid for healthcare either way. I was a kid, it didn't really matter, but I am cognizant of how healthcare works in the US, and the idea of free healthcare is absolutely compelling. The taxes, not so much. The traffic, I hate. I mean, I was in Toronto. I do not like cities at all, so I miss my family, I guess. They're all there, but I visit them every 2 months. So, I mean, I like Canada. I like Canada a lot, but I don't like cities, and I lived in a city. I like Cleveland significantly more. It's a smaller city, much more smaller, much more suburby, so yeah. And then politics. Oh, to answer politics. Have you... Maybe you're not living in the Canada I'm living in. Well, not maybe the Canada. Okay, maybe you're not living in the Canada I'm not living in. But did you miss the Freedom Convoy and the truckers and all that and everything going on and the current shutting down of guns and trying to take away everything? I mean, like, Canada's not free from politics. I don't know. Maybe America's worse. Maybe it is. But like, I talk to my family, and Canada does not seem to be the politics-free haven that you might be thinking it is. Or you're just very, very lucky and you don't know about any of this stuff. So that's Geek. I have 2 games I need to dive into deeper because I think they deserve a comparison. Dwellings of Eldervale versus Rise of Gnomes. Played Dwellings, have not played Rise of Gnomes. Less interested in Rise of Gnomes now. Z, did you try Merchants of the Dark Road solo? No, I tried Merchants of the Dark Road multiple times, but not solo. I tend to not dive into solo games as much. Sorry, I tend to not dive into multiplayer games solo that much, unless it's cooperative. Cooperative is a different story. But a game that's designed as a multiplayer competitive experience, I usually don't play solo. The notable exception is Terraforming Mars, but that's my favorite game of all time, so it deserves to be an exception. I'm sure there's others, but it's usually not my go-to. What's it called? Patrizio, how's your life after quitting your job and dedicated to board game content creator 100%? Sometimes I wish I can do the same, too complicated. I guess I'll give you a very personal answer. It's a very personal answer, but it's a relevant answer. At Origins, like the second day of Origins, Thursday morning, I was walking to the convention, and I was straight up, I was just by myself, just walking, and I was straight up tearing up at how grateful I am of what my life is right now. Of the fact that I could be at this convention, could be wandering, could not have to worry about the fact that, like, the pressures of work and what I'm leaving, what I have to get back. I mean, I still have to work, don't get me wrong. There's absolutely a toll to having gone to Origins. But just the sheer gratefulness of what my life is, of what I'm able to do and how I've been able to do it, and all of you, frankly, and any single person who's been a part of this journey, from the friends I've engaged with, from the people who subscribed, from the patrons, from anyone. I'm incredibly grateful to all. Like, I was tearing up. I mean, it's not the first time or the last time. I am very, very grateful, and I hope that gratefulness never goes away, because I'm grateful. Joseph, how do you feel about having such a large voice in the board game community? Sorry, I got the impression that you always speak candidly, honestly, but does it ever affect what you say? Well then, I feel mindful of having a voice. For context, I remember doing some of my earlier videos back in the day, where I would say something casually like, I'm getting rid of this game, hated it. And I've said that in my original videos way back in the day when I had 400 people watching them. I'd say, oh yeah, this game is not for me, totally hated it. And as my voice grew, I became mindful that I can't say small comments like that without them having an impact. And it doesn't mean that I'll hold back when I do hate something. There are things I hate. But it does mean that I have to be more careful with my words. I have to be more accurate with my words, not more casual with the intent. I can't say I hate a game if what I really mean was, this wasn't such a fun experience. But if I really hated a game, I'll say I hated a game. I just have to be more dedicated and more careful, use the correct terms, use the correct language, be responsible as to the whys and hows, so there is an impact to things. As far as speaking candidly, honestly, that's a choice that I make because I value being genuine a lot. Like I've said this before multiple times, my favorite thing that people say about me is when they meet me is like, oh wow, you're just like you are on camera. That's my favorite thing. It's the best compliment you can possibly give me. And to not be candid, to not be honest, even to hold back to a degree. If you ask me a question, for me to dodge the question, to a certain degree, I feel like I'm cheating you or something. Like, why would I dodge the question? Let's have the conversation. I don't care. Like, if we disagree, that's fine. If we agree, that's fine. As long as we can be respectful for another, what does it matter? So, yeah, I do it because it's important to me, I guess. Fanayam, Dune Imperium or Dune GF9? Dune Imperium because I haven't played Dune GF9. Speaking of which, Cam Reviews, I apologize, I missed your super chat. Now the Castle Burgundy campaign revealed everything. Many people have lots of issues with it. Some components not upgraded. What's your thoughts and did you go all in? So I didn't actually go all in because I've been too busy, but I will be updating my pledge to an all in no matter what they do with it. I haven't seen the buzz yet about the various questions and conversations of what people are unhappy about, so I can't comment it. I was at Origins the whole time, so I was too far behind on, well, that aspect to confidently talk about the campaign and the updates, but at some point. Steph, have you played Too Many Bones? I love Too Many Bones, Steph. How dare you? The question's offensive that you even asked it. John Bub, how have you found the game length for Dead Reckoning? We've yet to finish a 3-player game, just seems so long. We found 3-player games are 2.5 hours. I'm not sure what you're doing, but honestly, even 2 hours. You have to be aggressively pursuing the end goal, but I'm wondering if you're either just playing aimlessly or doing something wrong, because you should be able to finish it. Carlos, hey Alex, good day. Any tip for you to starting a new channel in the same genre, not the same target and language? Any tips for starting a new channel in the same genre? That is a longer conversation. I know Crackle and I did a video on this at one point. I can't remember the exact thing, but if you search for like BoardGameCo, Crackle, tips for content creators, it might show up. There's a lot of tips. They're just necessarily, they're harder to cover in depth here. I'll say there's a few things. First of all, do. Off the bat, whatever you're doing, just do it. Just get it moving, get it going. This is part of what I've been doing over on Twitch, where every single week we have a new issue, but it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, you have to confidently move forward. You have to keep doing. If you always hold off until something's perfect, you won't get it done. Just do, iterate, it's all good, everything will get better, that's how things work. Second thing is find what you care about. It doesn't mean that people will watch it, unfortunately, but the flip side is also true. If you do things you don't care about, I think you'll burn out quickly, and there's not enough money in the space to do things you don't care about. So find something you care about. And the third thing is, hopefully the thing you care about in some way is different, in some way is unique. It's hard to stand out unless you're doing something either better or differently. Better takes a lot of work. If you're doing reviews, at the end of the day, if you're just reviewing board games, it takes a lot of work to be better. It's hard. My channel did not start by doing board game reviews. Once I got larger, I started focusing more on reviews, but who cares about what one other person has to say about, I don't know, Stonemaier games, My Little Scythe. I'm just looking at a game on the shelf. Who cares? There's a million people talking about board games, and a lot of them are large and have established audiences. It's going to be hard to just put up a review and have people care unless you put a lot of work into the quality of the content. If your content is very well done, whether it's well edited, whether it's well presented, whether you have lots of B-roll, all the other things, I do none of that. I didn't break out by having review content. I broke out by doing Kickstarter value-based content, and no one else was doing it, and I got lucky. I got very fortunate in the things that I wanted to talk about were things people weren't talking about at the time, and so it's hard, but another thing is figure out why you're doing it. That's another thing. It's a longer conversation I'm not going to get into here, but figure out why you're doing it, or just one day you're going to wake up and you're going to stop doing it. Which might be fine, because maybe it's something you want to do for a short period of time. Citizen, would you consider Cloudspire a hard game to teach? I'm currently trying to convince some friends to play it with me. I think if you do a guided teach, it's not that hard. If you're trying to teach all the rules, it could be overwhelming. Joshua Burks, do you think that BLG will ever ship the mini lines? I do. I could be wrong, I could be naive, I could be too hopeful, but I think that Blacklist Games will ship their minis. Board Game Garden, I love my Ember Mug. It stopped working a while back. No! My big hesitancy when getting the Ember Mug was some of the reviews say it stops working at a certain point. But I'm like, I got this Black Friday, so I got it in November time, doing well so far, loving every second of it, and I would pay the $100 a year for that Ember Mug, easily. Now, if it's $100 a month, I might still pay it, honestly. Do you know how much coffee I drink? The cost per beverage for the quality of life that adds? I'd probably buy an Ember Mug every single month. Any IP you'd like to see as a board game? What kind of game? I'd like to see BioShock done as a board game. I'd like to see it from Awakened Realms. I'd like to be a dungeon crawler, story-based dungeon crawler, narrative campaign game, almost. That's what I want to see. There is a BioShock board game. It's just not what I want to see. John Bob, what are some good legacy games besides Risk and Pandemic? I have a very soft spot for Rise of Queensdale. Not talked about a lot, but I really enjoy that one. Sergio, is there a Wolfenstein review coming? Yes, there is a Wolfenstein review coming. Soon-ish. Raz, any recommendations for games that feel unique from a gameplay perspective? Absolutely there are. Paleo feels absolutely wonderfully unique. I love Paleo. One of the reasons I love Paleo is because of how different it feels. It's not the best game I have, but it's so satisfying. It just feels very different. There are other games too, but I got one, so we're going to move on. Food Flights, good morning, Alex. Wondering what your typical playtime is for Terraforming Mars with different player counts. I would say a 3-hour game. When going fast, we can do it in 2 hours. But a more typical 3-hour game is probably around 3 hours. The more expansions or players you add, the longer it gets. Jan de Visser, 7th Continent or 7th Citadel? 7th Citadel, I believe, although I'm wondering if I'm wrong. I got rid of 7th Continent because of how much I enjoyed aspects of 7th Citadel, but I'm also missing 7th Continent, so I'll let you know in the future. Seth Wiseman, nothing too personal, challenge accepted. Absolutely, Seth. Although, Seth, because I know you, if it is something that's very, like, religious-based that no one else will understand what we're talking about, I'm going to skip that because no one else will understand what we're talking about, not because it's too personal. Lorenzo, what are some good co-op 6+ player games besides Zombicide? So first of all, not Zombicide. Zombicide is not a good cooperative 6-player game. It plays 6 characters. I would never play Zombicide with 6 players. I wouldn't. A good cooperative game with 6 players, I don't remember how far Hanabi goes. The Crew, maybe, but I don't know if they handle up to 6. I don't think so. Honestly, I don't really play co-op games with 6 players generally. 6 players is a hard player count, and I'm usually more focused on competitive or something else. Zamorian, Seth Wiseman. Oh my god, that sounds terrifying. Okay, Seth Wiseman. Good morning. Have you ever thought about doing rules teaches along the lines of Paul Grogan and or Rodney Smith? No, I have not. I think they do a fantastic job, and I think I'd have to heavily edit my content for me to stand out in that sphere. I do think I talk clearly when explaining games. I think I'm good at it. I could be wrong, but I'm just basing it off my experiences with others, and I think I'm good at teaching games. But there's a difference between teaching games in person and teaching games on camera, where you have to like highlight the various individual components. I think the amount of editing it will require is something I would not want to do. In the hypothetical world in which the channel continues to grow, and one day I wake up and I have 150,000 subscribers and I can afford to pay an editor and all those details, yeah, I'd do it. I love the process of teaching games, of talking about games, but also, I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would. Now I'm going to be rethinking it, because the other thing you're missing, in addition to highly edited content, is the fact that when I teach a game in person, it's a different skill set. My goal is to get you the information as fast as possible so you can understand what you need to do, and then I'm available for questions. That is a very different skill set than having to deliver every piece of information because you can't ask me questions. This is a video. And I don't know if I like that as much. I like the aspect. When I teach a game, I will skip things intentionally. And we'll get to that part of the game and I'll be like, okay, cool. Just for the record, you have to know that X, Y, and Z is going to happen at the end of each round. But I have to pick and choose what I can skip because some things are important for your strategy, other things aren't. But I can make those decisions and most of the time they're close enough to being right. But you can't do that in a rules video. So maybe, I guess, but I think there's too many caveats to the way I think I'm good teaching games versus the answer versus teaching them on video. Max Lester, any updated thoughts on Relay Contest? I want my new copy to come, and I will be playing it when it does. Sebastian, late to the party. Always welcome, Sebastian. Steph, trying to get into solo gaming. Any recommendations for solo games? Spirit Island was my breakthrough solo game. That's the first solo game that I was like, oh, this isn't some side thing that I'm not interested in. I like solo gaming. So, Spirit Island, maybe? I also like the Oniverse games if you want to try something smaller. Or Sprawlopolis is even a great little button shy game. Costs you $9, and it'll give you a good feel whether you like the puzzle of doing something yourself. But they are different experiences. One of the problems I had with solo games is I wrote them off initially as being light little puzzly things that I can play an app on my phone. Spirit Island's whereas like, oh, real is a wrong term, but like bigger games that are more intricate, more nuanced, they also have their benefits. I saw some comments from Marketing Wonders about a second Kickstarter came for Foundations of Rome and possible upgrades, expansions. Do you know something? Veldrick, I'm coming in late. Have you talked about Feed the Kraken yet? No, I haven't. I have it on the floor. It came in right before I left to Origins. I'm behind. So behind. The thumbnail of this video is called Falling Behind for a reason. I'll get to all this stuff. Sebastian, Under Falling Skies. You're right. That's another great title. Sergio, is there a Wolfenstein review coming? I answered this already, but maybe you asked it a while ago. Yes, there is. I'm 10 minutes behind. That's not good. That's not good. Okay, I'm going to skip a bit, okay? Joe Reese, if you have to pick one Super Fantasy Brawler, Kingdom Rush, that's because of the video I did yesterday. That makes sense. Probably Kingdom Rush. Probably, but it's hard. It is very, very hard. There's a reason those two are together. Zamorian, Fractal Beyond the Void or Last Light? Last Light, easily. Brenta's Art, need a new solo game under $100. Recommendations? Spirit Island. Raz, do you have time intervals where you are tired of board games overall, but you hustle just because it's your job? No. Although that's a nuanced answer because there have been times, I've been into board games for 11 years now, and there have been times where that interest waxes and wanes, where I want every single game that ever exists, whereas I'm a little more content to sit back and play the occasional game. I've absolutely had the whole waxing and waning of the board game hobby. I think that's normal for people. I think you have to understand what it is, and that's fine, it is what it is. I do have times where I'm a little bit more fatigued about the types of games I'm choosing to play for content, but the hobby in general, I'm in love. I've been in love for 11 years and nothing's really changed there. So the hobby in general I love. The specific aspects of things that are job related, yeah, absolutely. Not sure if we discussed already, but you look back in your decision to stop working and go in 100%. It was briefly discussed. I'm 100%. It was briefly discussed with me saying I welled up in tears as I was walking alone down the blocks in Columbus at Origins. It was very heartbreaking. But yes, I'm 100% in on this. Food Fights. My wife and I are playing a game of Dead Reckoning. We are 2 hours and still playing. We don't really rush our turns because you just don't enjoy the experience. I find our group is slow. The amount of times where I say this game runs too long and I get comments saying, what are you doing exactly? I think our group takes our time. We're here to have fun. But with Dead Reckoning, it's still been like 2.5 hours, I'd say, is our game time. Richard L. Not happening. There's already a deluxe version. I can see Stronghold reselling all the cards with new art. I don't know what that's referring to. Brent, do you have Spirit Island? Yes, that's a great question. The Misadventure. I've gone back and forth on A and Trespass Odyssey. I remember you did not back it. Just saw Into the Unknown's boxing. It looks awesome. Would you back it now? No, I wouldn't. I think that A and Trespass Odyssey has too much content for the type of game I'm looking for, and I'm not compelled enough. I do like the game. I played it briefly when I had the chance to try the prototype, but I have lots of games in that genre, and the art style doesn't pull me in. I'm not a whole Kingdom Death Monster art style. Zamorian. I'm not going to actually ask those questions. That's Seth Wiseman responding to Zamorian. Seth Wiseman, I can be way dangerous even staying off religious topics. I'm so far behind. I'm sorry. Okay, let me keep going. Let's see. Valgo, are you a completionist? Must have it all. Yes, I am, except for promos. I have a video coming up about why I don't care for promos, but mostly yes. Professor Meg, Unfathomable? Is that a question, Meg? I don't know what you're asking. Burke, how do you keep your Zombicide Black Plague organized? How do you build your zombie deck? That's a longer question. It's all organized into a few boxes, just stuffed in bags. I don't care about the inserts or trays. How do I build my zombie deck? I use the various zombies we're using, and then what I usually do is I shuffle in a variable number of extra abominations. Usually 3 is my go-to number, but I up it or lower it depending on the players, the situation, the scenario. And those are just extra abominations that pop up. Then, past that, when a regular abomination comes out, we roll a die. On a 1 to 3, it's a regular abomination. On a 4 to 6, it's a special abomination that we draw from a separate deck. So we always have the special abominations kind of cycling in, plus a little bit more danger from the extra abominations we shuffled in. That's a shorter answer, I guess. You seem to love games with minis as I do. Do you ever try painting your minis? Yes, I did. And then I decided to get into content creation, and my entire life just got busy. So I painted half of my Blood Rage. It's very lovely, the half that I painted. Professor Meg, do you regularly explain and teach games on Twitch where people can ask questions? I don't, but we could if you want to. Yeah, we can explain and teach games on Twitch. It's we're still figuring out. So Meg and I, for context, again for those who missed it earlier, we're doing Camp Co-op on Twitch. We're still figuring out our exact schedules and details and all that stuff. But we're doing Gloomhaven at least once a week, and we're leaning into different things. Like I know Meg's doing something Thursday night. I don't know exact details. Some sort of D&D thing. I think I'm not entirely sure. Thursday morning I'll be streaming Resident Evil. Just playing through my campaign. We're trying and doing different things one at a time. Okay, Fan I Am. While Risk isn't my favorite game, my most memorable experience was Risk Legacy. Excitement, challenge with friends, memory made. What's yours? So there's recency bias to this answer. My most recent experience that was absolutely amazing was Veiled Fate. It was the 6-player gameplay over on Chronicles channel. You have to watch it to understand why, but like, it was a very memorable game. That's what I'll say there. Let me scroll back up because I lost the chat. Oh, I'm not that far behind. So Morion, last one. Hopefully I have a little time to play. Scythe plus Rise of Fenris versus Cloudspire. Whoa, that's a whole lot. Okay, whoa. Okay, cool. That is a whole... For context, Morion just asked like 17 games. From the ones you asked... Interesting. From the ones you asked like 14 games. Scythe, Rise of Fenris, Cloudspire, Heroes of Lander and Sea, Ankh, Dwellings of Eldervale, Kemet, Cyclades, Lords of Ragnarok, Last Light. From those, I'm going to go with Cyclades because I love Cyclades, but my second pick is kind of Cloudspire. I really want to dive more into Cloudspire and see how it goes. Edward Few, how does the event deck work in Longshot? I haven't played Longshot. I don't know what that means. Seth Wiseman, I know I'm just being memeing. Laurie Harris, favorite Awakened Realms game, Alex, where does ISS rank for you? Favorite Awakened Realms game is almost certainly the Great Wall, honestly. I'd have to think through it, but I think the Great Wall is my favorite Awakened Realms game. ISS Vanguard is good, but it's more narrative driven. I like ISS Vanguard a lot, but I haven't played Tainted Grail, so I can't comment there. ISS Vanguard is... and Nemesis I'm still undecided on. ISS Vanguard is up there. It might be my second favorite. I just need to play more. RJ Pollard, hey, really enjoyed the channel. I saw your video about Cloudspire the other day, and as a TMB owner and fan, is it worth diving into Cloudspire 2? So, assuming you don't mind the money you're going to inherently spend getting it, I think so. I think Cloudspire is delightful. Richard L., Alexander Ratcliffe, what was that with Foundations of Rome? That was a wink, obviously. That was a wink. I was asked if I know anything about an upcoming Kickstarter campaign with expansion content, and I winked. That means yes. It means yes, I do know what's something to do with the upcoming Kickstarter campaign and expansion content. I can make that clearer if you want. Aaron Quintala, someone needs to gif... Whoa, lost the chat. Aaron Quintala, someone needs to gif the knowing but significant silence moment about the Foundations of Rome Kickstarter. I do have someone who actually once gifed me winking. I was being snide in a video about the top 10 worst games. The best video, the highest performing video on my channel is top 10 worst games of all time. And I had this line. I was so happy with it. I was so happy. You had to watch it, I think, to understand. But I used a whole bunch of stats. I can't remember the dig. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was a dig at Kingdom Death Monster players, tongue-in-cheek, not actually, and I just paused and just winked, and someone gifted it up for me. I can't remember the dig, I have to watch it again. The Board Game Garden. I did a how to play for Bark Avenue, and I have so much respect for Rodney and others. It takes so much effort and time. Yeah, that's the thing, Jenna. Like, it's absolutely Jenna's from the Board Game Garden. A great channel. You should check her out and subscribe. But yeah, I like teaching games. I think I'm good at teaching games. It's a different skill set. There's a great video you can watch. It's an interview with Rodney Smith and Ito. Ito does a whole bunch of board game interviews. And if you watch that video, I have so much respect for Rodney's process of doing a video. Like, he reads the rule book, he notes his questions down, he plays the game, he notes his questions, he heads over to the Board Game Geek forums, looks at all the questions there, tries to establish which ones are people missing obvious things versus which ones are reasonable oversights. Like, oh, I can see how they missed that, so I have to be doubly certain to explain that. He heavily goes into a lot of work. Before we even talk about the filming and the explanation, I'd rather just talk about board games. Successful week. Speaking of wax and wane, what do you know about future Mistborn games? Nothing. Seth Wiseman, Board Game Garden, Rodney is great. DeBruiser, as someone very new to the hobby, I would love a video from you with your perspectives on the first 10 games a noob should play, collect to see what mechanics are for them. That's an interesting idea. That's not even like top 10 gateway games. That's a kind of like a little bit of a palate cleanser? No, a tasting thing. You like a little tasting thing of whatever. I like the idea of that. That's an interesting idea. Fernando Martinez, any truck freight games you know recommend? No train themes. What's the difference between a truck and freight theme game? I mean, Indonesia arguably has a freight theme to it. I love Indonesia from Splotter. That might be one. I'm not sure if that's going to be exactly what you're looking for, but I love that one. Dustin Rasmus, percentage of currently owned games you have upgraded components, metal coins, upgraded bits. I'm answering off the top of my head, but 7%. I'm just going to give that. It's a lower number than you might think because I have so many small games I'm not going to bother going through that process for. Now, if you readjusted the question to percentage of games that typically play in over an hour and a half that I have them, the number might jump to like 25 to 30%. Like, there's a decent amount of the games that I love more that are bigger that I have some form of upgrade for. But like, I have a lot of smaller games or kids games or different things that just I'm not going to bother heavily upgrading them, at least not yet. Professor Meg, Unfathomable is a fun 6-player co-op. Meg, have you played Unfathomable at 6 players? You haven't played Unfathomable, but I played, also calling it a co-op is a stretch, just so we're on the same page. If you played Unfathomable, which I haven't, but if you played Battlestar Galactica, that is not a co-op game. That's a hidden trader game. But either way, main gamers, for Darwin's Journey, should I late pledge for the base game or try to find a collector's edition secondhand? I'd probably wait at this point. If you're answering that, I'd probably wait, give it a try at some point. If you really like it, try to hunt down the secondhand collectors. Funkicide, thoughts on the Zombicide roll and write? I have it, and I need to play it. Maybe I'll Twitch something tonight. Okay, here's what we're gonna do, okay? New plan. I don't know the exact details, I'll put it on the schedule. I will, at some point today, I don't know when, I will at some point today be over on Camp Co-op playing the solo Zombicide roll and write, because I have the game, I've read the rules, and this is a good opportunity to go ahead and have a play running. So if you want to see that, make sure to check out Twitch. It's over at Camp Co-op, and at some point today, it might be this evening, it might be this afternoon, but at some point today, I'll be playing Zombicide roll and write. Duraz, do you like Crystal Palace? Haven't played it, but I do have it on my shelf of shame. Frederick Epstein, curious, you are an all-in on Storm Thunder, but won't back ATO because of too much content. Discuss. No. ATO has too much content, and I'm not pulled in by the game. Those are two very important distinctions. Storm Thunder, I should not be backing all the content. I should. If I was a responsible human being, I would be backing the base pledge of Storm Thunder. That's what a responsible person should do. I'm not always a responsible person when I love a game. When I love a game, and I don't know if I love Storm Thunder, but I think we'll see. Either way, I'm irrational. I am absolutely irrational at times, and I did a video a long time ago, sitting on the floor of my basement, back before I had any form of quality to anything on this channel. I did a video on the floor, literally sitting on the floor. It might not be clear, but it's like top 5 pieces of board game advice I don't follow, or top 5 things I should be doing, but I'm not. I don't remember what it's called. But one of the things was I get all the stuff for a game once I like it. And that's a problem. And sometimes it works out well. Cthulhu Let Me Die, I've played through tons of my content. I have no regrets. Rise of Moloch, no, I've played through some of the content of Rise of Moloch. I'm trying to find one that I haven't even played. Destinies. I have the all-in for Destinies. I haven't gone past the base game yet. So, like, sometimes I do things irrationally. But I also justify it because, hey, I can sell it if I need to. J-Rock, are you considering expanding BoardGameCo shipping beyond the US? So you're referring to the retail operation? No, I'm considering shutting down BoardGameCo. That's the thing I'm in the process. I've been saying it for a while. I'm either selling or shutting down BoardGameCo. I just don't have an exact timeline on it because we've been working with some investor for a long time. It's taken a very long time. But I don't want to do it anymore. I want to do this. Preston Wagner, I'll have to go back and listen to the rest, but finally get to join live. Hoping to run into you at Origins and see you. Sorry, Preston. First of all, you can always ping me something in some way, shape, or form. My email is in the description. If you ping me in some way, shape, or form, I'm happy to try to meet up if it's not super inconvenient. Nameless Adventure. I completely overlooked Last Light, then I saw your review. Now I'm planning to late pledge. Looks really cool. Last Light's incredible. Really solid game. Springham, thoughts on Backkit crowdfunding? Skeptical, but also they have enough. So for context, Backkit is going to be launching to the crowdfunding game along with Kickstarter and GameFound. And they're doing so with a lot of names. Like Leader Games is going to be there. Other companies I don't remember, Cephalaflare is going to be launching the Ministers campaign. I would be very, very skeptical about BackerKit's crowdfunding campaign, except for the fact that they have a lot of names who seem to be jumping in it. So I'm very intrigued. Martin Frenchie, Forbidden Stars, worth a shot. Absolutely worth a shot, but also expensive, so that's your call. Board Game Garden, wow, definitely need to check out that interview. Yes, it's really, really solid. I was already impressed with Rodney, but I was more impressed after the fact. Blood on the Clock, Nameless Adventure, Blood on the Clock Tower versus Monopoly. That is an interesting question. I like the question. Would I prefer, given a choice between playing Blood on the Clock Tower or Monopoly at the moment, which would I do? So, offhand, if the answer is Monopoly without the proper rules, then Blood on the Clock Tower. If the answer is Monopoly with the proper rules, I think I'd choose Blood on the Clock Tower. I think I would. I think expectations matter, and if I'm comparing it to Monopoly, it's a better experience than Monopoly. But it also depends. If the option is, it's a lot of context here. If the option is playing Monopoly with my kids, for instance, I'll choose Monopoly with my kids. If the option is playing Monopoly with my friends at a quiet space versus Blood on the Clock Tower in the convention hall, I might choose Monopoly still. So it's a very contextual question. It's interesting. I like the question. Where am I now? Scrolling back up. Let's go Super Chat first. Fanam, any game themed feudal Japan or sci-fi Star Wars? Any game themed feudal Japan or sci-fi Star Wars piques my interest. What theme always draws you? I'm a sucker for fantasy. I generally have been. Nothing's really changed there. It's boring, it's typical, but I am a sucker for general high fantasy. Like, you throw me some dungeons, some dragons, some imps, some powers and abilities, a nice sword or axe or crossbow, and I do tend to get pulled in by that. Anything else? Cute critters are always nice too. Cute critters will draw me in. That's definitely true. Okay. Also, for those waiting for the 10:45 moment when Rena was showing up, her video call's not done yet, so she may or may not show up. We shall see. Who's your favorite hero in Marvel Champions? I haven't played Marvel Champions enough to answer that confidently. I will say I really like Doctor Strange. I had a lot of fun with Doctor Strange. Did you back Castle Burgundy at what level? I technically backed it at a low level because I haven't had a chance to update yet, but I will be backing it all in. It's not really a question. Martin Ferenczi, has Devin got to you? Oh, you're talking to someone else. Yeah. Rafael Stalker, what's your most wanted board game currently out of print? What is your most wanted board game currently out of print? That's an interesting one. I vaguely recall that there is a game. Oh, I know. I want the deluxe version, and I have the regular version, but I have the regular version of Bus. I want the deluxe version of Bus, and I can't find it, so that's probably what I want the most is out of print. Gabriel Koala, what's the worst game ever released that you played? I'd have to think. I mean, that's such a hard question. There's a handful of games that come to mind as being games that I did not enjoy. The good news is most of those games did not fund or ever come to fruition, so I'm not even going to bother talking about those because what's the point? The worst game I ever played. I don't know if I have a good answer. I'll continue thinking about that, and maybe I'll have an answer for you. I just don't know. Hey Alex, loving your quality content perspectives on all these games. What are your thoughts on Skyrim from Loxley? Looking at the collector's edition, but wondering if it's a good back. I think I skipped a bunch of stuff, but I'll answer that question anyway. What is so I can't answer if the Roxley games Skyrise is a good back or not because I haven't looked at the campaign. I can tell you I enjoyed the game, but I haven't looked at any pricing, any shipping, any of those factors that I would look at. So I'll let you know Monday, I guess, when I do the to back and not to back. What are your thoughts on Maracaibo? I need to play it. That's my thoughts. Sebastian, do you have a Grail game? Not really. So this is a very spoiled thing to say. It's a privileged thing to say, not spoiled thing to say. But I generally, if I want a game enough, I've generally gotten them. And I haven't found myself craving out-of-print games that often. And even when I do, they kind of go on a mental list. And I get it when there's a good opportunity. It's very rare that I'm absolutely craving a specific game that I'm having a hard time getting my hands on it. Again, that Bus Collector's Edition is one of them because I really like Bus and I haven't found the Collector's Edition. But like, I don't find myself like having specific games that I'm super trying to hunt down. I'm lucky, I guess. I'm fortunate. And it's not even that I just get them all. It's not like I want, I don't know, what's Forbidden Stars, and I'm like, oh, I'll just go ahead and buy it. It's just I don't find myself desperately wanting these expensive out-of-print games. Oh, you know what I want right now? Here's what I want right now. This is the thing I'm having a lot of self-control and a lot of problems with. Right now, I want a, geez, I'm forgetting the name of the company, but I want a Crokinole board from, what's the name of the company that makes good Crokinole boards? This one that Jesse Crackle has. So I want the crokinole board from the company that makes crokinole boards that are amazing. I can't remember the company right now, but I have a crokinole board. Jesse's crokinole board is so much better that I like my crokinole board less, which is frustrating and irritating. I want that, but it's like $400 if you want everything for it, and that's the thing I've been holding off on and being responsible about right now. Board 1315 Gamer, I can't wait to try Mythic Mischief. Mythic Mischief is so good. Any idea when I'm available to purchase? I don't. It's going to be shipping soon, but I really like that game. Jason, when have you been a more responsible person and backed a basic non-all-in pledge? There was one time where I backed a basic non-all-in pledge. I think it was one time, but I'm trying to remember what the game was. It is so rare for me. I usually either want the game enough that I back it all, or I don't want the game enough and I don't back any of it. It's incredibly rare for me to not go all in, but to get something, unless you're talking about like stuff like lore books. I don't care about lore books. But there was a game, and I can't remember what it is at the moment, but there was a game where I was like, I will back this game, but I will not go all in. I don't remember what it was though. I do it sometimes with intent. I remember when I backed Trudvang, I was like, I'm gonna get a base pledge only, and then I went to all in because I'm crazy like that. But so yeah, it's definitely happened. Pat M, what's the Twitch channel? Twitch channel is Camp Co-op. It's camp_co-op, CAMP_COOP, like Camp Cooperative. That's the short form for that. But it's over on Twitch. We have some videos up already. We played through Gloomhaven last night. We're currently working through some tech issues. I know Meg's having some computer issues, probably getting her a new computer or figuring out how to fix it in some way, shape, or form. But we did completely destroy a Gloomhaven last night, which if you've been watching at all, we hadn't been in previous weeks. So we completely destroyed. We're awesome is what I'm saying. Matt Heifel, have you played Glory to Rome? I have. I didn't think it was worth the out-of-print price tag on it. I thought it was fun, but I could also play Innovation. I got the same feeling from it. Seth Wiseman, what's the upper limit you will play to deluxify a game that you love? I don't think there's an upper limit. No, there is an upper limit. There's an upper limit. Clearly, because of Brass Birmingham. Brass Birmingham, for context, has these painted ships that you can get. Painted, handcrafted, everything, tokens and everything for the game that I played with a friend's copy. You can find pictures of it on my Instagram if you go back like 3 months. I played with a friend's copy and I loved them. They were insane. And then I went online to look for them and it was like $450 for because they're hand painted. It's a hand painted set for the whole thing of all the tokens and buildings and everything. And I was like, I don't need to pay $450 for the game that I'm playing 4 times a year. Now, there are things, I would pay $450 for other things. There are definitely conversations I can have, and it's more a conversation around how often do I play that game and how much value does it add to the game. So I don't think there's an inherent upper limit. I mean, obviously $10 million, whatever. You can find a number, obviously. But for me, it's more about context. Do I play this game a lot? If I do play this game a lot, then how much do I care? Terraforming Mars, there's no upper limit for Terraforming Mars. I'll find whatever it is and I'll buy it because I love Terraforming Mars and I play Terraforming Mars and I play it a lot. So the more often I play a game, the more I love it, and the more I add to the experience, the more I'm willing to pay. But there are ratios of what's worth it versus not worth it. Ranger Ripcord. Oh wait, Shimeric, do you ever play board games on iPad? No, I do play board games on my phone infrequently. Ranger Ripcord, how do you get your kids interested in playing games with you? They just watch you and want to join in. Do you force them to play? Holy hell, no, 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 no. I'm sorry, give me a second. Give me a second here. Last, do you let them pick games to buy or choose them? I love board games, and I play board games, and my kids are always welcome to join, and they like spending time with me because most kids instinctively want to spend time with their parents. So I make time to spend with them, and I'll make time to spend with them doing other things too, playing whatever kind of games that they want. It's always a conversation around the best way to handle all these things, but the short version is be inviting, show them the fun things, they'll want to spend time with you, and then make sure that you pick games that are suitable for them, that they will like, that they are interested in, that they'll have a good time with. You may have to deal with putting up with games that aren't for you for a while, but eventually their taste will grow and modulate. It's no different than reading books. Like, you read books that are not age-appropriate for you, but you're age-appropriate for your children. And then they grow older, and the next thing you know, you're talking about Ender's Game with your 10-year-old daughter and having a blast because she's reading some of your favorite books ever, and you're now exchanging notes, which is currently what's happening in my life, if that wasn't evident. But yeah, don't force your kids to play games. Just be there for them. Zamorian, are you excited for Twilight Inscription? I like roll and writes, so yes-ish, but not that excited, because roll and writes often let me down just as often as they don't let me down, so we'll see. Martin Ferendi might have planted an idea. 1976 Salmon J. Hey Alex, loving your content quality perspective on these games. What are your thoughts? Oh, I answered that one already. Matthew Mankey, did you end up backing for the minis tiles? Absolutely, I did. For Castle Burgundy, yes, I did. Ewan Neritz, speaking of Storm Thunder, I'm a little stressed by the delay and ongoing situation of freight. Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that. Storm Thunder is going to be in for hell. Wow. Okay, that's something I'm not going to think about because that doesn't need to be thought about. Preston Wagner, what games are you most looking forward to seeing at Gen Con? None. I don't know what's currently at Gen Con, so I'm not informed enough. I'll probably before Gen Con do a video of like, oh, top 10 games I'm looking forward to seeing at Gen Con, but I have to do my research and look into it, and I'll do it then. Right now, I got nothing as far as what's at Gen Con. So Morian, and I really recommend Empires of the Void 2. Please do a review on it. Need to play it, don't have it, but eventually maybe. Successful Geek, how to increase view time on YouTube. Promise a better personality will show up like Rena eventually as long as you stay. Very good, Successful. Yes, I am promising that Rena will show up eventually, and I think, based on the voices upstairs that I'm no longer hearing, that she may take over the chat in a second if she shows up downstairs. I have a chair all prepped. We're good to go. We'll figure all that stuff out. But she may or may not show up. But I'll keep going. Maybe I'll go to 11:15 today. Just, give a few extra minutes because Rena wasn't here last week and all that stuff. Nameless Adventure. I know Jesse has done some Solomon Kane videos. Have you played? I have not yet. I do hope to play. Joe Edward Few. Do you think that Beast is likely to be available following the late price closing? I think Beast is amazing. I don't know if it's worth getting the upgrades or not. I have to take a look at them. I remember I wanted them enough to get them, but I also remember that I wasn't like, these are essential. The Beard. Thoughts about Madara? I need to play Madara. It's up there behind me. Jean-Charles Mather. There is a Bus Deluxe. I know there's Bus Deluxe. I want the Bus Deluxe. I only have the Bus Regular. Look at me and my poor sad little life where I only have the regular version of an already hard to get game. Laurie Harris, are you looking forward to Lands of Galzir and Iridia? Highly for Iridia. Lands of Galzir I've heard good things about, but I hadn't played it myself, so I'm just going by other people's good things. Malik Shirk, did you try out Live? I did not try out Live, unfortunately. Board Game Garden, Maracaibo is great. I have it on my shelf. I just need to play it. Zamorian, do you recommend Cyclades at 3? I think it's better at 4, and it's very good at 5 too, but I still do enjoy it at 3. K. Smith, Tracy Crokinole board. Yes, the Tracy boards. There are things I want to do that are irresponsible in life, and buying a Tracy Crokinole board is one of them. But don't tell Rena, because she'll be like, yeah, absolutely, go ahead and get it. Why wouldn't you get it? So don't tell her. She's the worst kind of enabler. Jason, do you ever sell off just the expansions for a game you like because you think you'll never get the expansions to the table? Very rarely, but yes. I did so with Kemet Seth, the one versus all Kemet game expansion. I felt that was completely unnecessary and useless to the experience. Oh, hey, we got a guest. Shh. I also did it with Foundations of Rome recently. Got rid of the solo expansion to Foundations of Rome because I felt it was completely unnecessary. You can duck under the wire, it's all good. I felt it was completely unnecessary, the Foundations of Rome solo game, and just didn't, I wasn't going to play it solo ever. Come. Grab a chair. So I do it, but infrequently. No, here, you take this chair.
Oh, it's a better chair.
Yes, a better chair.
You want your water?
No, I'm all good. Okay. Hey, it's Rena. We're going to scroll down to see any questions you have for Rena and all that stuff. If I launch a Terraforming Mars Deluxe wait, okay, Yogi Bear. This is a relevant question because it's Terraforming Mars, so we're going to pause all things. If I launch a Terraforming Mars Deluxe habitable version to play on Mars with a spade and some potatoes for the low price of $1, no, okay, it's not a question. The low price of $1 trillion. No. Okay, so let's go here. Let's go up to the chat down here. Gabriel Kawai, this is a good question for Rena, actually. While you think about the worst game, top 3 roll-and writes. Also been craving a new video with solo games. So I will have, on my list for upcoming videos, I have top 10 solo games coming up again. I just have a few I want to still table, but top 3 roll-and writes. Go.
Ooh, what are my top 3 roll-and writes? Ooh, Fleet.
Yep.
Fleet. Welcome to.
Cool.
But halvesies, I really like the original Welcome to the Moon, and depending on which version of Welcome to the Moon, depends which one I like.
We played Welcome to last night, actually. On Camp Co-op, after Gloomhaven.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, with the crowd.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
I love Welcome to. And there's so many. There's that magic one that I really like with the... You don't know what it's called?
No, I was telling them one that you're going to say when you remember.
3 Sisters? No, I don't remember.
Okay, just saying.
Railroading? No?
I mean, that's a good one. If I'm picking my top 3...
Oh, Gauntron Clever? I don't know. There's so many roller rights. I like them all. Which one did I forget?
Hadrian's Wall.
Oh, I love Hadrian's Wall. Hadrian's Wall is a really, really, really good wall. Oh, we haven't played that in so long. We should do that again.
We should play Hadrian's Wall. Yeah, so my 3 are probably Hadrian's Wall, probably Railroad Inc. I do like it a lot. And then I'm really enjoying Welcome to the Moon. I really like it a lot. For me, that's easily my favorite. Also, for those in the chat, it's Rena, R-I-N-A, not R-H-I-N-A or R-E-N-A. All of them are acceptable. I'm just in case you care. In case you care. What's the difference between the standard bus and the Capstone Deluxe one? The standard bus the Capstone Deluxe one has better tokens as opposed to cardboard chits, and I want them because I'm spoiled, rotten is what it is. Crazy, you guys have the same folding chair we have, Jason. Jason, it's from Costco. It's not the most rare folding chair, but we have a bunch of those, and that's what we use. A fan I am. I'm one session away from finishing King's Dilemma. Looking forward to Queen's Dilemma. Quacklope and I have been talking about whether it's worth us playing through it. I'm sort of interested, but I have other campaign games that are taking priority. Let's see. Successful Geek, what is the heaviest game that Rena loves?
Rise of Moloch or Cthulhu Day? Those are the 2.
I think Rise of Moloch is heavier. I think it is.
We did 1 full round of Rise of Moloch, and we're sort of in our second round, but at this point we have to start again.
Castle Burgundy might be heavier. I don't know. You don't think of it as heavier because you've been playing it since we started playing board games.
Castle Burgundy is the best game.
Yes, it is. I'll second that Cloudspire question. You like Cloudspire now? Yes, I love Cloudspire now. I'll be playing that soon. We have a new super chat. Harv's K. Did you watch KOA's unboxing of Shul? Very impressive for indie company's first attempt at barely funded. Oh, and hi, Rena. Please keep keeping Alex honest. Honest from what? What am I doing when Rena's not around? But short answer is Shul. I have not watched King of Ravage's video of Shul. Not yet, but I am intrigued by it. Shul looked very cool. Don't know if it'll be a game for me or not, but I'm certainly intrigued. Let's scroll back where we were a second ago. Silent Spoon, $428 for Tsuro. No. Just
Which
no.
one of you is worse for those impulse board game purchases? You. I don't buy
Obviously
board games.
me.
I buy other things. I buy yarn and woodworking things and houseworking things and all the other
You're
things.
also an enabler, so there is that.
There's that.
Kensai, what are your favorite party games? I may have missed that video if it exists.
Monikers.
Go ahead. Monikers is one.
Monikers is one of our really favorite ones. Codenames.
Yep.
Timeline.
Yep.
I don't know. We haven't played a party game in a
Decrypto?
while. Decrypto's hilarious.
Dixit.
Dixit's also really funny.
What else do we have that's party adjacent?
I
I mean, I like So Clover a lot, but it hasn't been tabled enough for me to say a favorite party game. But I really do like that one.
I think Monikers we've done the most.
Monikers we've done a lot. Skull is basically a party game. Although you don't Skull, not Skull. Skull is a good party game too. I was thinking of Cockroach Poker, but Rena doesn't like bluffing games.
I don't like bluffing games.
Other party games we played, I really like America and Terra, but we don't play those anymore. Those are the trivia ones.
In a really long time.
Yeah, we don't have the same groups for party games that we used to, so they happen less frequently. Raymond Rano Jr. Better two-player game, Unsettled or Vindicated. For two-player, I'd go Unsettled. For two-player, otherwise Vindication I still prefer higher. Sixel Geek, thoughts on the Breach DMCA issue around the parody homage. So this is actually interesting. The Breach is a video game, a board game that they had homage characters to Jinx and what's it called from the Riot show that we watched. Whatever it's called.
I know which one you're talking about.
We know it's called. It's
on Netflix.
But
not Netflix somewhere.
It's not called Legend, is it? No, it's something like that. Whatever it is. But the Riot show, they had characters that were homages to them. And I remember it's actually interesting because they had this back with the Mandalorian in the last game. They had a Mandalorian tribute, and I was like, hey, this might be taken down because these things sometimes get taken down. So my thoughts on it is you may end up, not getting that character. And that's the price when you have homage characters because you could get sued for them. Richard L. Really want Hadrian's Wall. Been out of stock for a while here in Canada Land. BoardGame Garden. I love Hadrian's Wall. You have good taste, Jenna. Totally. Yep. Hadrian's Wall is my favorite Roll Knight. Period. As of right now. Sebastian, no need to apologize whatsoever. I'm just correcting because why not? Inform, whatever. But it's nothing to apologize in the slightest. Have you been paying attention to how many names I've mispronounced as I'm going through this chat? Nameless Adventure. Hi, Rena. What is the heaviest physical weight game that you love? Physical weight. The biggest box to pick up, to pull around.
War Chest.
War Chest?
Isn't that one that you own? The one with all the...
Too Many Bones?
No, it's a different one then.
War Chest? I don't know what you're talking about at all.
No, I don't know. It could
Okay.
be a different game. I don't know. It's a good question.
What's the heaviest physical game that you own? I mean, Rise of Moloch with all stuff is not light.
I mean, Cthulhu has 1 billion boxes.
Cthulhu doesn't have that much. It's not that heavy either. It's fairly light. The heaviest physical game that you own. Mexican
I don't
Minions
know.
is not bad.
I mean, I don't
Okay.
know.
I don't know. Don't know.
Don't know.
That's the question there. Stefan Schreiber. Rena, have you ever been mad at the game Sender has bought?
No. Which game was I mad at that you bought?
No, not that. Not the fact that Sender bought it. Been mad with a game. Oh, maybe you mean it that way. I took it to mean the fact that she played the game was like, no, and a little more dose of no on the side because no.
There have been games like that.
They're having games like that. That's what I'm saying. But mad with a game that I bought, I don't think so. You're way too nice.
No. I don't think so. Not at all.
You have on multiple ones of our videos probed us to who do you think you're playing this with because it's
Right.
not me.
Yeah. No, there are definitely games where I don't want to play them because they're not my style. But
Yeah. Nate Freytag, how did you find Origins? I went this year. It seems small, less vendors compared to 2017, 2018. Those are the 2 years I've went. So I'm lucky enough that I only started going to conventions post-pandemic. So everything I've seen has already been large because I'm nothing to compare it to. So Origins was great. It was twice the size of last year, if that helps. But as far as prior years, I got nothing. Rena should also, by the context, on the last day of Origins, I tend to bring my kids. And so the larger it gets, the more nervous I get because those are a handful. Rena shows up and brings in the money. Yes. Steven Schreiber, bonus points for me spelling Rena's name right from the get-go. Yes, you absolutely get 14 cookie bonus points. You can trade those in for 2 cupcakes, and a cupcake at the end of the year is worth 1 certificate for nothing. The BoardGame Garden would love to know what the theme Rena is drawn to.
ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. It depends on the game. Is there a theme that I'm specifically drawn to? What? Cutesy things.
Well, I said something similar to that.
Which is what?
Bunnies.
I do like bunnies.
Yes. That's not a theme. She just likes Bunny Kingdom a lot.
I love Bunny Kingdom. But no, I think anything that has like really cutesily drawn things I really like, but at the same time, like I love Cthulhu Death May Die and Rise of Moloch, so...
I mean, Cthulhu Death May Die has cutesy things. Have you not seen those creatures?
Oh, those are pretty creepy.
They're adorable.
Oh, sure.
Thalbach, do you plan on producing more content of Veiled Fate? No. I mean, actually, I shouldn't say no for sure. If Ivy Games sends me a copy to review, I'll review it. I'll save you some time, though right now, my view of Veiled Fate is that I like it, but I also don't love it. I think I've had good experience with it, but I've had medium experience with it. It's more about the mechanic strategic deduction. That's part of the game, which I've always found good, but not great. Blazer, hi Alex, what do you think about Septima with 2 players? I haven't played it with 2 players. I reviewed it, and I said in the review I only had a chance to play it with 3 players, unfortunately. I like getting multiple player counts in when I review a game. It just happened to be that people who knew Septima was just 3 of us, and we didn't go down to 2, and we didn't add a 4th, so we played it a few times, but like it's 3 players only for me, unfortunately. Matt Highfield, quality inserts or upgraded bits for games? Quality inserts. Anything that gets the name more easily tabled is better for me. Table Knots, hey, hi Vina and Alex, this is Max. Have you met Max?
I think
Yeah.
so.
And then Doolin, of course. Who would ever forget Doolin's name? Max and Doolin from Table Knots. But yeah.
Oh, they were here.
They were here. No, Max was here. Max was here. Doolin was not here. Yeah. Max was too briefly. I don't even know if you saw him or not. Jeremy Howard, not sure what's happening at 2, but it's fun. Likely will require a dummy player. I agree with you, Jeremy. Yeah. Successful Geek, if the homage parody issue gets bigger, what do you think will happen to Zombicide? So the homage parodies have always existed, and they've always had tweaks around them. If you follow the original Zombicide Invader, they had an homage to, I believe, Harrison Ford, if I'm not mistaken, and I believe they had to tweak some of those. I think they had Mace Windu, what's called, Samuel Jackson, Harrison Ford, and maybe one other. They've had to tweak them. You get a takedown in it, you change the characters, and you call it a day. You don't lose the entire property, or at least I haven't seen that happen yet. You hit the little crick of the door too.
I didn't fix the screen door. It's on my list.
It's all good.
It's on my list.
Sebastian, Crokinole. I
Yes.
love Crokinole.
No, that's the heaviest game.
That you
Is that the
love?
question?
You love it?
I very much enjoy it.
Oh, so then go ahead. Go ahead.
It's a very heavy game.
Yeah, it's heavy-ish. Sean M. Is that room surrounded by calyxes? Yes, this
Yes, it
entire
is.
room is surrounded by calyxes. It's fully like, I mean, there's room for doors and walking in and out, but past that, it's calyxes all around. She's like, no, there's barely room for doors. What game would each of you say is the most underrated? I know mine. What's yours? Underrated. I'll do mine while you think about it.
I
Underrated.
can't think of half of the names of any of the games.
Well, what's a game you really enjoy that other people don't? That you have a hard time getting people to play with you? Think about that.
Bunny Kingdom.
Bunny Kingdom. Probably. For me, the answer is Carson City. I think Carson City is amazing. It's rated like a 7.2 on Board Game Geek. It's not badly rated.
Well,
but I
Las
think
Vegas we play as a whole big group.
Las Vegas is a good party game. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Sam Durst, has Ghost of Christmas sparked any new love for trick takers? Yes, in general. I've been seeking out trick taking in a way that I wasn't before because I just didn't feel the need to, and Ghost of Christmas very much pushed that. Kensai, have you played any escape rooms investigation games such as Unlock or Chronicles of Crime?
What was the one?
Have you played any escape room games such as Unlock or Chronicles of Crime?
We played Unlock. Unlock we love. Chronicles of Crime.
Works done.
It works, but it doesn't work. But
That's
I
the thing.
like
Yeah.
Unlock. Unlock is good.
Unlock's great. I got some extra games in that a patron sent over. We should play one of those at some point. But yeah. Danny Osmond, are there any games that Rena likes that you don't, but you play with her anyway? So, fun question. Depends how you look at that. Although, Chris, what's your answer? Let's actually hear your answer first.
Are there any games that I like
That I don't, but I play with you
don't?
anyway. See, right about now, she's trying to think of a polite way to say yes, but the answer is no.
What was that?
I don't know.
Cool. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to sit down and play a game together anyways, then we're just going to pick something that both of us like.
There we go. So, I wondered how she'd answer the question because it sounds bad to be like, no, he doesn't do that for me. And she's trying to figure out, does he not do that for me? No. We don't do that for each other, specifically. There are games we like more or less that we play. Like, she loves Bunny Kingdom, and I like Bunny Kingdom a lot, and so I'll play the game she likes more. But I don't believe, or I should say we don't believe in general, of doing things that you don't like, that either one of you don't like, if you have enough stuff that you both like. Why should I play a game that she doesn't like, or why should she play a game that she doesn't like, when we both have games that we both like? So it's just an unnecessary, like, it's the kind of thing, if you're in a relationship where you have no commonalities, you may have to make sacrifices like that to spend time together. But if you have commonalities, focus on the commonalities. Don't force your spouse to suffer through something that you're interested in that they're not, whether it's within the hobby in general or the hobby. If you like board games and your wife likes tennis, but both of you like painting, paint. Just paint. Just paint. Like, just figure out the things you like together. The Bruiser, just want to say thank you. This is the first time I could tune in live, and it was great. Made the better once we joined, of course. Absolutely. It's okay. Someone successful earlier was like, yeah, good strategy for a live stream. Tell everyone at the beginning that the best part's showing up and never shows up. Just keep people engaged the whole time.
We had a meeting. The meeting finally finished.
Nameless Adventure, Mandalorian vs. Obi-Wan. Middle of Mandalorian. Haven't started Obi-Wan. We're watching with our kids, so we're going slower. Seth Wiseman, are you going to PAX or BGG conventions? I am going to PAX, probably, almost certainly. BGG, not sure, and the noise outside is our neighbors because they're moving or moving in.
They're moving in.
Yeah. Blake Ridgway, would you ever pay for someone to paint minis of your favorite games? Seems like deluxification, but I know sometimes it hurts to pay for something you could do yourself. Yes to everything you just said. In theory, if you give me an unlimited source of money, that noise is a little annoying. If you give me an unlimited source of money, and I could just pay to have my miniatures, all my favorite games, deluxified beyond anything, I would do it, absolutely. But money's not unlimited, and so for right now, very, very low down the chain. Eric Shem, Go Doolin. Oh, Martin Vinek, would you pay $300 instant for both Marvel United games or reduce boxes to half? So, Martin, I actually have a very, 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 very cool Marvel United insert that I will be showcasing at some point. I've been holding off right now because the company has been having issues with all the Ukraine and Russia stuff going on. The company's been having issues sourcing stuff, so they're not currently selling it. So I've been waiting till they're selling it again before I show it because I might as well put people their way. But yeah, we'll talk about that more. Eric should spam Doolin's name every chance we get. Yes, go for it. Derek Boyer, can you recommend any automotive-themed games? I work with a bunch of car guys who want to get into gaming.
We use Roll and Write.
Roll and Write is available. There's Motor City. It's a Roll and Write that we haven't played. It's not available at the moment.
There's that game that you played recently that everybody had like a different kind of racer person. I don't remember what it was called. You guys played it.
I need more context.
It was a game that had pieces. There were boards.
This is her usual starting point, by the way. It was a game with pieces and boards. Where are the cards?
Yes.
I know it.
They were really large cards. Each person, like each driver, had their own like personality, and you picked a personality of the driver, and you really liked it. I think.
Who did I play it with?
I think Devin was here. I'm pretty sure.
There's drivers.
Yes.
Oh, you're talking about. I know you're talking about. That was a racing game. I don't remember what it's called actually. Don't remember what it's called. It was a Kickstarter. It's not available. But there's also Kanban. Kanban's very automotive themed. There's other ones as well. There's Automania is an automotive themed game. You can hunt that one down. That was fun. Tablet. Hey, Moss. I've unfortunately not had the pleasure of meeting Rena. I was in Cleveland, but it's only especially for the weekend. You scumbag. You scumbag.
Don't be rude.
I'm sorry. I really like you, Max. I value and respect your content. Everyone go ahead and subscribe to Table Knots. He's in the chat, and I should not be rude, apparently. Richard L. Table Knots. Is this Max or Max's friend? Max's friend. That's hilarious. Kensai, which of you is the most competitive? I think probably me, but not like with games with her.
Yeah.
To me, it's only fun being competitive if you're playing with competitive people. The games Rena is competitive in, I'm more competitive in as well because she's being competitive. But if you're playing with somebody who's focusing more on having fun, but also on winning, I tend to match their pace because trying to like destroy someone who's not fighting is just not fun. Versus trying to destroy people who are fighting is delightfully fun. Table Knots, I'll tell Doolin you remembered. Remembered? I've never forgotten Doolin's name. Max? Or is it Matt? It's Matt. It's Matt. Max. Hey, Sebastian, have you been named after Sir Alexander Radcliffe or just a funny coincidence? Never heard of Sir Alexander Radcliffe, so I'm going to say funny coincidence. Blake Ridgway, maybe too personal. I told you, we don't do personal stuff. I mean, we don't not do personal stuff. Are you providing yourself any retirement funds or any long-term benefits while you work for yourself? Blake Ridgway, great question. We haven't talked about this on the channel. This is a longer conversation about just the way I approach finances in general. So, for me, this is a blunt and personal conversation, but I don't shy away from those. Something that people don't always do the math on, but it's something that is relevant, is you have to remember that basically I was working a job, right? Okay, so I was working a job over here, and then I started adding YouTube. And YouTube started adding to my expenses over here, this little line. My expenses over here, and as I start adding YouTube, because I'm using YouTube and my job, my expenses and my income keep growing over what I need, because I'm effectively working two jobs. Because my whole game plan is I need to get the number line to here, so that I can drop it all, and then continue to actually still pay the bills. Meaning inherently the process of getting to full-time while working two jobs and slowly escalating YouTube and Patreon and all these things meant that there was extra money coming in. That extra money absolutely went towards savings. It absolutely went towards savings to the point that my goal is that I can't be operating in the red. If I'm operating in the red, I have to stop operating in the red. So my goal with YouTube is to not be operating in the red, but I also made it very clear. I was like, we're fine. My question is whether the year to year was in the red, but we had extra savings as a result of working two jobs for 2 years. And that savings is basically what I put into retirement funds. Like it went all into like just funds where I can pull if necessary, if things go south, if the whole YouTube thing is crashing down, if numbers do go to the red for too long. There's a lot of flexibility. But so the short answer is I had extra money for 2 years coming in at various points, different amounts. And I'll continue to see how YouTube goes. Right now, the income from YouTube versus the expense of YouTube do not allow for extra savings at the moment, but if things continue to grow, they may well, and that's the hope and plan. Nothing's too personal. How do you feel about the fantasy theme in board games, Rena? How do you like living in a box?
In a box?
Yes.
I don't think.
I
think you live in my box.
But you're saying, do you know what the question's referencing?
No. Which box?
I told you I can fit all my board games in a box. Stop calling our house a box.
So to be very fair, I don't think I'm living in your box. I think you're living in mine because your stuff is all condensed to here. And my arts and crafts are literally everywhere. I have stuff in every single floor, in every single room of this house.
So I will grant that you have more stuff all over the house. But if you condensed it all into the Kallax cubbies in this basement, I think I have more stuff. You have more places. I have more physical presence.
I don't think you know how much fabric I have in the attic.
Okay, we'll see.
I have a lot of stuff. Wait, there was a different question about it. Something about fantasy games?
Yes.
Oh, I like fantasy games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raymond Moreno still waiting on our BGG Keepa glasses and beard badge. As Raymond Moreno wants Board Game Geek badges for various, BoardGameCo things. Get at some point. And that's not the way it works. Not that kind of thing. Eric Hashem, what happened to Septima video? Was it posted truly by mistake? Yeah, Septima, basically, they told me the campaign was launching on Tuesday. And then later, and this is... I'll say it's both our faults. Later, in a longer update that had like 17 little things, and here's some rules update, here's a tweak, here's this, here's that, and the bottom little sentence, they're like, and the campaign has been pushed to till Thursday, and that's when the video should go up. So they did tell me, but it was buried. And both of us, we've spoken, we both apologized. I'm sorry I missed it. They're sorry they weren't more clear about it. So my video was set to go up Tuesday because that's when it should go up. And then it wasn't supposed to go up, so it's hidden right now, but it'll be back up Thursday. Nate Freytag, have you any board game table suggestions? I covered this a little bit earlier, so I'm not going to go through it right now. Food flights. Y'all have any plans to dive into my father's work? Again, a question that was asked earlier. That the answer is not at the moment. We have, where are we? Fan AM, did you back Solo 175? I did not. Also unlock Star Wars. I'll get that at some point.
Ooh,
they haven't unlocked. It's a 3-part series.
Cool.
DJ Dan, favorite worker placement game that you like solo and with other players? Worker placement. For me, I don't know. Everdell's probably my favorite competitive worker placement at the moment. I don't know if I have solo. Oh, I mean, I have Maquis. I like Maquis solo. That's not bad.
There's so many.
Matt Highfill, Wonder Wands War top 10 so far. Have to play it. I have to play it. I'm excited, but I have to play it. Demir Golak, how does your gaming change in the summer when kids are off school? We send them to camp, of course.
Camp.
Sexual Geek, I was just saying Rena makes the streams better. No pressure on you, Rena. It's more Alex needs to up his game. Successful is like one of those people that I often want to block him, but then he does nice things too, so I leave him alone. Too Many Bones, have either of you watched a show called Being Erica? No, but did we? It sounds vaguely familiar. I don't know.
We can't keep track of what we watch anymore.
Derek Boyer, we don't watch it. We're slowing down. Derek Boyer, thanks. Games of Peace on Board sounds great. Seth Wiseman, what do you think of Martin Wallace's Automobile? I haven't played that one, but that's too... I haven't played Martin Wallace. I love Martin Wallace in general. Never played Automobile. Richard L. Alexander Radcliffe, did you show Rena all the Castle Burgundy's deluxifications? Did I?
I don't think you showed that to me, but we've been talking about it for a while.
But they had the latest update with all the pieces while I was at Origins, so I may not have. Stellaris, I've played some simple high fantasy games, but the art is too cartoony. What's a good simple high fantasy game with great art? I mean, I like the cartoony ones. I like Zombicide Black Plague, and I like Massive Darkness. But as far as a good high fantasy with good art, I mean, Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven has fantastic art, and that's not too cartoony. Nidamir Bear, hello there. Hi, Nidamir. Chuck with Sam. Good morning, Rena and Alex. Samorian, man, we're really roasting poor Alex. No, roast away, by all means. Derek Boyer, Sebastian, thanks. We'll add to the list. Vanessa Rinaldi, are you worried about the rising price of board games shipping costs since this is your main job right now? No, Vanessa, not in the slightest. Let's have a conversation about this. There are always things to worry about in the general board game space, how things will change, adjust, and adapt, and all that. But as a baseline, if things get more expensive, what do you think becomes a more in-demand service? Reviews, ideally. People who are critical in reviews more so. I don't think I have to worry at all about the board game space in terms of everything getting more expensive. And the amount of games coming out, we could half the number of games, and I still would not be covering close to anything of all the stuff. So not particularly worried. William Walker, here's a question. What do you do when you have 20, 30 Kickstarters you back, then moved away to a new place, not knowing anyone or being near anyone really? I'll let you know when it happens. So you want a really dark question. This is something Tom Vassell once said, and I thought it was really dark, but also relevant. If you back Kickstarters, and one day you die, your significant other is going to have a slow list of things popping up at their house every month or two for the next 2 years, slow little reminders of parts of you that they loved.
That is so sad.
It's so sad.
That is so sad.
It's so dark. So that's if you want perspective, that's a real problem. But past that, as far as moving, first of all, you can sell them. Second of all, is find new people. It's a longer conversation about finding new friends. It's not necessarily easy, but it's I mean, finding friends is a big deal. You want to try to, yeah, it's not an easy, no easy answers there. I apologize. Successful Geeks. Morium, yeah, I hope Alex knows it's just because I'm one of his biggest fans. Successful, that's the most offensive thing you said this whole chat. I liked it better when you were being mean to me. No, don't be nice. Just be mean. It's much nicer that way. Kensai, what's your opinion on getting everything fit box like Terraforming Mars or the Anachrony Infinite box? I think you have to know the game well enough. If you get too much, if you get like an everything fits box before you know the game, it can make the game intimidating to table. I specifically did not get an Anachrony Infinity because I hadn't played the game yet. But Terraforming Mars, I like all and everything, so that's fine. Silent Spoon. Burn Cycle, have you played solo yet? Thoughts on the game? I've absolutely played solo, and my thoughts on the game is that I really liked it, but I said it's the best when you're playing it solo, at least for me. Raymond Moreno, still waiting on part 2 of your life story. Coming soon, I think maybe Sunday, maybe next Wednesday. I don't remember exactly. It might be next Wednesday. I have to double check. I filmed it, yeah.
Did you check all the dates before you filmed things?
Are you commenting on the fact that I don't know the ages of our kids?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just checking. Sebastian, Richard L., how will they implement the 3D tiles? I think you have to just pull the 3D, this Castle Burgundy. I think you pull the regular tile.
Like the 3D tiles?
Everything's 3D. Everything's 3D. Maybe I'll pull this up so you can do this. Hey, you want to read the next question?
Where do we have to?
Start reading from under there.
Where?
Yeah, just from here.
Do you think tutorial apps like
Dized
are better than trying to understand the rulebook? I don't know. I can't answer that question. That's a question for you.
I'm better than trying to. I personally am a rulebook first person, so I haven't used Dice. So I can't answer that one.
Okay, they show that you'd pull out the acrylic tiles and then put them to the sideboard and then find the building to place out. It seems like an extra step.
It absolutely is an extra step. There's no question about that. The question is it worth it? Because I do like the physical deluxe of something on your table. This is actually not that different than the fact that if you think about it, this is what you're doing in Castle Panic Deluxe at the same time, for those who are interested in that.
Pets. We do not have any pets. Our son is severely allergic to cats and dogs. Your mother has a bunny. Your parents have birds.
You're much nicer than I am. I don't love animals. I'm just sorry. It is what it is.
Our kids really want a dog. It's never going to happen because we're really allergic to them.
And for context, when I say I don't love animals, just finding this thing for you. I had a cat growing up. I liked our cat. I would, if we did not have 4 kids, I'd be comfortable getting a cat. Dogs, I never really had anything for. I never really liked them. I could blame it on the fact that my brother was bitten by a pet dog once, and then we got rid of the pet dog because he attacked my brother. But that happened before I have any memory of it, so it's not that. It's just I just never cared for dogs. Okay, here, 1 second. Let me show you the tiles. Okay, so here are the tiles for...
Ooh.
Yeah, enjoy. That's Castle Burgundy now. What movie's up next for date night?
Oh my gosh, you're going to be able to see if it's pigs or sheep or goats or...
What movie's up next for date night? The answer right now is we're currently going through The Boys. Yeah, we just started season 3, episode 1.
Dark.
I do not recommend it. I do not recommend it at all. It's the worst. I was squirming. Blake Richway, have you done a video along the lines of Kickstarters that are most satisfying to actually receive? I got Guardians of Atlantis 2, and the quality is just exceeded what I expected, which is nice.
You're just excited whenever you get boxes.
That's true, inherently. I'm also excited when I get her boxes. Then I see her boxes, and I get less excited. Seth Wiseman, I'll bring Automobile when I come to Cleveland. It's my selfish shame since it came out in 2021 or 2012. Sebastian, totally too much. Oh, we're getting to the end of the chat here. I think we're going to call this.
They're not going to be brown?
Not going to be brown what?
They're not going to be brown.
I don't know the color.
It says we are still working on the final colors of all the tiles.
Which means it's not going to be necessarily what you see. Richard L, totally too much. Fall of the Mountain King, when it'll be coming out? Haven't found an exact date. Don't know. It's Kickstarter, so I don't really go with exact dates. Table Knots, 3 kids, 2 dogs, 2 gats. Do not recommend. Yeah. Any chance of having pets, I think, went away when we had 4 children. Table Knots, hi Brad. Blake Ridgway, thanks for doing this and answering all the questions so honestly, really insightful and enjoyable. Absolutely, Blake. Again, every time I say nothing's off the table, I hope that people ask me personal questions. I like the excuse to dabble into things that are problematic, and most people won't watch because, like, it's one thing to have a video called, like, I don't even know, pick a topic that's messy. If you title the video that, people will watch it, and then I'm more reluctant to be as direct, but hidden in, like, the back hour-and-a-half long live stream, sure, 4 people will see it. And then if it's really bad, they'll share it with Reddit, and then I'll be in trouble. Xer, I thought AR acted really weird at Castle. Many opinions were simply ignored. I didn't follow that enough, so I can't answer that. What I will say about this, about crowdfunding, is that people have these weird expectations that you're going to say something, and then everything will immediately happen, which is not how things work, especially in a larger company. It takes time to make moves. If you're a larger company, you have long conversations around every change you're going to make, and crowdfunding has to do it pivoting constantly and whatnot. So lots of things will likely be taken into account, but may or may not actually turn into, well, anything else after that. Joshua G, The Boys is an excellent show, but definitely not for everyone. I love The Boys, but it is dark, it is uncomfortable, it is gory, it is messy, it is inappropriate, it is the worst kind of anything you've ever seen, but it's strangely satisfying. William Walker, I'm really bad with resistancing or finding new people to play with or to introduce to the community. I don't have an easy answer for you. There are various sites you can go to like Meetup and whatnot. it's definitely not easy. I would embrace solo games in the meantime. Keep your love for the hobby alive with something like that while figuring out how you can slowly adjust. It might be a slow adjustment. It's not easy moving. Tablenauts, you have dogs and cats? Weird. We viewers would never know. That's funny because Tablenauts always has his dogs and cats interrupting the videos.
That's funny.
Successful Geek, how to make the Marvel Zombies gameplay all-in worth it? You don't need the gameplay all-in. Practically speaking, you probably need the base pledge, and that will give you tons and tons of content. You probably do not need the gameplay all-in. Am I getting it? Of course I am. Kusiger, hey Alex, are you still excited for EOS Island of Angels? Yes and no. I always liked EOS Island of Angels, but it's not what I'm passionately in love with, so I'm torn on that. It's one of those many games that I really like, but will I make time for it over other games? So I'm excited for it, but not like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for it to come excited. Sharkbo Sam, Successful Week, Miss Marvel is fantastic. Oh, I have to watch Miss Marvel. We're so far behind in all these things.
We're very behind. We haven't had time.
Successful Geek, it is, let's see. Richard L, do you see Backit launching their crowdfunding? Yes, I did see Backit launching their crowdfunding, and we'll talk more about it at some point in some way, shape, or form. And with that, at an hour and a half in, we're going to go ahead and call this one. Oh, yes, actually, well, that's the last question. What's the last question?
Would Rena ever join you for a camp co-op live stream? Is that the Twitch thingy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a plan.
It's currently in the plans. We're going to be going through, Cthulhu Death May Die is probably the first game we're playing through. Probably. We'll figure things out. There's a bunch of options, but there is currently a plan. I don't know if it's happening tonight, but there's a plan for Wednesday nights in general for me to be Rena and me playing through something. Yeah. Okay, and that's basically it. Lastly, we have Fan AM. Favorite Mel Brooks film, Young Frankenstein. Not for me. For me, it's Blazing Saddles. Easily. I love Blazing Saddles. I like all his stuff, or most of his stuff, I should say, but Blazing Saddles. And with that, we're going to go ahead and call this. Thanks so much for everyone. This is the part where I have to awkwardly shuffle over there to hit live because I forgot to bring my